Welcome back to Special Edition, and very delighted to be having with us over the phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, over the latest escalation inside the Middle East and the possible awaited agreement between the U.S. administration and Iran in the Iranian-American military confrontation that has been going for over months now. Good afternoon, Ambassador Bayoumi.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Good evening to you, sir.
How are you?
It's a real pleasure to have you on Special Edition, and now discussing again, on and on again, the awaited agreement, if so, or some peace agreement that could be taken seriously between the American side and the Iranian one. On the American side, it was said that it should be taken or signed off only on one condition by the American President Donald Trump, and on another condition that Iran would completely halt its nuclear activities, while Iran denied that. So how do you read the situation right now, currently?
It is a very complicated situation. You don't know really what do they want, whether the Americans, the Iranians have the right to have their nuclear activity. Who can forbid them from doing this? But we asked once the Minister of Defense of the United States when he visited Egypt years ago, why you are so nervous if it comes to Iran or North Korea, and you are closing your eyes while your main partner in the Middle East, Israel namely, have hundreds of warheads, nuclear warheads, and you don't open a mouth about it. The answer was funny. He said because Israel is a democratic system and Iran is not. This is his own opinion. So everybody laughed, and we told him, but mind you that the only time the nuclear bomb was used, it was in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it was, by the way, a democratic bomb. Would you be happy that you are bombed by a democratic bomb?
Right.
It looks like a joke. Another time, Egypt and the Arab countries went to the International Nuclear Energy Institution, and we asked them to ask Israel whether they have or they not have. The whole Western countries refused. Even we were asked a question, legal question. No, nobody is allowed to ask Israel about a question. So coming now to our recent problem, I see that they are exaggerating, asking Iran to stop its nuclear energy system, because I think Iran and any country in the world has the right to choose whether to use the nuclear energy for peace use, or even to produce a bomb. I don't see any restriction on this, but it is a matter that the big man would order the other countries to do whatever suits him. This is unfair, and really it's highly complicated. But anyway, coming back to your question, let us wait and see, impatient, what will happen tomorrow, because for sure, even if President Trump of the United States sign an agreement, his main partner in the Middle East, Israel, doesn't want to stop the war, because the Prime Minister of Israel is requested by the International Court of Law, and even he is requested in his own country to abide to the justice system. So if the war stops, he will go to jail. So this is one man who doesn't want to stop the war. Another party, which is nuclear, which is the arsenal weapon industry, they sold weapons in the last few years by $6-7 trillion. They do not want wars to stop. So that's why although I am optimistic in general, but here I am hesitant to be optimistic.
Right, but then going back, Ambassador Bayoumi, to a very obvious gap that is always becoming void or becoming unclear all the time, every time there is a round of negotiations, to everybody who's observing the situation. You kindly have drawn up the line to a very important part, which is Israel has a point of view and the United States have a certain reservation, and they have different probably views, though that they work on the same platform. At the same time, when we talk about a possible agreement, it is not clear what could be the red lines for both Israel and the United States. Is it the nuclear activity? Is it the Iranian regime? Is it the Strait of Hormuz, which was not on the negotiating table to start with? To the Iranian, there are different also pickups and reservations. But to Israel and the United States, it was never unclear what exact reservations do they have, so that this could be sorted out and you could come to the negotiating table.
Yes. Generally, people tell you that Israel is dominating the situation with the United States. But a friend of mine who was an ambassador, American ambassador, served in Egypt, he told me with all frankness, if it comes to serious business to the United States, they can ask Israel to shut up and they will shut up. Nobody can say that Israel would order the United States to do this or that. It is a matter that we have to convince the United States that it is not in their own national interest to follow the Israelis, because they are not for peace at all. So it depends on our ability to continue negotiating with the United States, and also at the same time encourage Iran to accept a reasonable deal. Then we are safe. But the question is Israel and the industry of weapons.
Right. Also moving to the situation in Lebanon, which is still part and parcel of what's happening, because or let me put my question that way. Do you think that what's happening or what could be happening in Lebanon could be relevant to what could happen between the United States and Iran if they have a peace agreement? This could be also affected on the military confrontation between Israel and Hezbollah. That is a question also that raises itself.
This is a very important question, and I would add to it, would it affect the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza? This is the same question. But I have here 2 points of weakness on the Arab side. In Lebanon, the government is not in full control of its border, and Hezbollah is taking care of the border. So Hezbollah is a state within the state, and whenever they want to fight, they fight. They do not ask us, they do not ask our opinion. And they do this war, this silly war. So Lebanon the problem in Lebanon is a sort of internal. It's not only a problem with Israel. It is a problem that Hezbollah is taking the responsibility to start any war anytime. Same thing with Hamas in Gaza. Although we are helping our brothers in Palestine, but Hezbollah must abide to whatever the Arabs would tell them. But Hezbollah is not seeking the Palestinian state. He's seeking a religious emirate in Gaza for the sake of Hamas. Two weak points in our position. So we have to see, as Arabs, what do we want exactly from Hamas, from Hezbollah.
Right. But then speaking about the situation again in Iran, whoever could be monitoring the situation in Iran, some observers said that this war, if they were not conquered by the United States, and they were not, it might have strengthened their muscles much more, and assessing if there was one side that claimed victory or did not. There wasn't. It was an even draw, as they say in sports. Nothing has been affected, and all the statements that are given by the U.S. administration might not be close to reality. No victory have been achieved, and the situation is standstill. How do you assess the situation now after several months of war between the U.S. side and Iran? Did the United States achieve any victory?
I believe that the Iranian has their very good and subtle diplomacy. I met in my life many Iranian diplomats which you can trust them. Maybe the mullahs, they have another opinion. But here in Egypt, even in Egypt, we were hesitant when President Biden, the ex-president, asked us to establish a pact against Iran. Badr Abdul Ati answered him, Iran is not the enemy. Iran is a friendly Islamic state. Then now when Iran started to bomb the bases, the American bases in the Gulf, they started to hit our brothers in the Gulf. So we condemn what is the Iranians are doing. But at the same time, we are holding the situation. If you hear the news that the president of Iran is talking to our president. So we are a very good mediator, and I am really glad that Egypt can talk to anybody in the world. We are in the middle of all this situation, and Egypt is in a rare situation where we can mediate with anybody which we want to talk all over the world.
Right. We are definitely a country that is always calling for peace, not war. But then let me ask you a final quick question that is really very essential to everybody in the Middle East and the world. The economic consequences of this war as a result of the ongoing off and on closure and opening of the Hormuz Strait. How do you assess the losses and the damage that could be affected? Is it going to be affected for years, for months? And what could be done?
The whole world is not in good health. Since the disease of Corona, then we have the war of Ukraine, then we have the problems between the West and the East. I'm talking about Russia or China. Then the economic position of President Trump against China and against his own supporters in the Atlantic. Situation is very hesitant. So we are in the middle of all of this. Of course, our area and the whole Arab world is not in good health. What is happening in Syria or Lebanon is a division between the Syrians themselves. It's a division between the Lebanese themselves. Same thing in Libya. Same thing in Sudan. So except Egypt and the Gulf states, and maybe Morocco and Algeria, the whole Arab world is not in good health. So we have to deal with this. But thank God that still Egypt is standing on a very solid feet, and we are there. Of course, we have our problems, but we are in a much better situation than any country in the world.
Right, that is very much true. Thank you so much, Your Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister.